Usually at the beginning of my videos, I show some kind of stupid mess up or something kind of funny that I did while installing parts on whatever we're doing. This time, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a preface before that. I'm about to install these beautiful Tooley racing valve covers on my LS Swap 5.3 Dakota. Couple things that I wanted to let you know first if you're looking to get into these valve covers. Obviously, they're on the thumbnail. One is I thought you were going to maybe need longer plug wires for these coil relocation brackets because it shows the valve cover. You don't. I had 10-inch plug wires and they work just fine. In fact, 12 inches is probably too long for these valve covers on a stock motor with the headers that we have. So that's one. Number two, you cannot use stock truck coils. And what I mean by that is these big square guys that they kind of have the coil on the same side as the mounting bracket, I guess you could say. But these big square coils will not work on the valve covers. And I didn't look into that before I started trying to install them. What you will need is an LS3 style coil pack, which is like this, where you have the mounting bracket and the coil snout kind of in line with each other. And then again, the truck coil, a Gen 3 truck coil is not going to work. So they also have the round coils that are found on like some of the LY6s and things to that extent. They will work as well, but only these two, which is this one, the round one, and that's it. You could probably make it work, but it doesn't mount up right, doesn't look right. So I wanted to put that at the beginning of this video so you guys knew what you're getting into before you maybe order these parts. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Well, hello there. If you paid attention at the last video, at the end of the last video, I talked about taking the Dakota out to the track for the first time since we put it back together. Unfortunately, that was supposed to happen today, and the track said that it's still wet on the top end of the track, so no racing. So, no track. Sorry, guys. It's coming, though. It's coming. We're ready. But I think I got something else to do in the meantime, so figured why don't we just kind of throw that on. So if you don't know, if you're brand new to all this, this is my 92 Dodge Dakota. I drove it in high school. I've had it for over 20 something years, and now it has a 5.3 liter GM with a 4L80E trans and a Ford 8.8 rear and a lot of other goodies. And speaking of goodies, I got something over here to show you guys that I've kind of been sitting on for a little bit until I got the truck running and was ready to kind of mess with it and play with it. And here, just check this out. Ooh, right? Tooley racing valve covers for the 5.3. These things are gorgeous. They think they are a blemish set because I got them a little cheap, but I don't care, and I'm guessing that's probably the blem. But I got the coil brackets and stuff as well. So I'm going to try to install those today and see how bad it is. A couple things to worry about. One, I have to take everything off here, but I definitely need to take the coil packs off at least because I've got to figure out how they bolt on the valve cover stuff, and I don't think there's instructions in there. I'm gonna get busy with pulling these coil packs off at least. Probably the valve covers too. It's not real hard, guys. A couple bolts, pulls the coil packs off the valve cover, unplug it, and then 4 8mm bolts, pull the valve covers off. Not really gonna show you guys that because it's a little pretty intuitive for you guys to do it. So if you watch this channel, likely you can knock that out without even having instruction on it. So let me do that, and then I'm gonna play with one valve cover and we'll catch up on the second one. Would you believe that I've already ran into an issue already? Yep. It's my fault because I didn't do the research that I should have done. So let me show you what we got going on. If you look here, I got a couple different sets of coil packs. These are from the Dakota. These are from the 6.2 that we have for another project one day. The Dakota is a Gen 3 LS motor. The 6.2 is a Gen 4 LS motor. If you look at these coils, and I've got a couple pulled off, they're grossly different. This is the Gen 3 coil. It's kind of fat, but what I want you to pay attention to is this right here, because this is your mounting flange. Well, the mounting flange for these Gen 3 coils are like parallel with where the plug wire goes. The LS3 style is what we're going to call these. There's a part number, but I don't know for sure. They are in line with where the spark plug wire goes. Obviously, you can see how much difference in thickness there is. And what I'm finding out is the BTR valve covers are either meant for the round, like car style LS coils, or the LS3 coils. So that's kind of what I'm running into, and I've got something mocked up for you guys. This is like the truck coil. The Gen 3 early LS truck coils. They're not really supposed to go on this bracket. It's going to offset the plugs, which is not ideal. I could do them to where it didn't offset them, but this would like be in the way of this bolt, and I would have to cut it. And it just wouldn't look. It would look kind of wonky for sure. And then you have this nice packaged up LS3 style. This is exactly what it's designed for. And if you look at the two together here, wonky, chunky, whatever you want to call it, versus LS3 style. So typically what we could do is just say, well, I'm going to steal these from the LS3 or the 6.2. It's not an LS3. It's a truck LS3. And we're going to, I'm going to use them. However, I'm in a pickle because not only is this one absolutely busted, so is this one. So whatever this thing hastily came out of, they busted those things. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to try to run 3 sets of these and 1 set of these for now and try to make it happen, or if I'm going to abort and try to find some more coils like this. The 4.8 is like a Gen 3.5 motor, and I'm pretty sure it came with the other style coils. Here's the last coil that we have for the 6.2. So I don't think, I can't find any more coils hanging around, so I don't know where those went. Yeah, I kind of don't know what to do, so I'm going to think on it, and then we'll probably, I'll figure it out, and you guys will know what the decision was. Well, I've decided to at least show you guys how to put one of these things together. And I got everything laid out here. We got coil brackets, which are optional, right? You've got 8 long aluminum spacers, 8 bolts, 16 short aluminum spacers. These are baffles, which is part of why these valve covers are so awesome. Then about 8 washers, 16 small Allen head screws, 6 of these self-tapping screws, and then your 8 nuts for the bolts. So kind of got it all laid out here. I'm trying to not be such a savage with this. And then I've got my set of good coils, which, you know, I have 6 out of 8. I'm gonna have to figure out the rest on that. And this is my decision. I'm gonna go ahead and try to use these, and we'll figure out the best way to do all that here in a minute. But I think this is gonna be our driver's side. And actually, you know what? The blim's over here. Where this is gonna be our passenger side. I take it all back. I think we're going to install a baffle. So since this is going to go on the passenger side, I'm actually going to put this -12 nipple here. With that there, we're actually going to either use one of these for the back, or we're going to use one of these plugs, which is a -12. So these are -12 ORB fittings in the valve cover itself. So that's what we're going to do. So since we're kind of not using this back one, we want to put a baffle on this one right here. So we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to install the correct baffle. The correct baffle for this one is going to be, I believe, this one right here. Remember, this is passenger side. And if you look, there's a little bump right here. You want this indentation on the same side of that bump. You want the bolt holes on the inside of the valve cover so you can get to them. So bolts are here, and then it's going to block that whole passage right there. So bump on the valve cover, bump here, flange pointing the inside of the valve cover, and then we're going to throw a couple of these self-tappers in. These are 1/4 inch, and since they are self-tappers, I'm just going to use a well, they're kind of going in as is without any ratchet. All right, that one's started, and we'll start this one, which might be a problem because we're hitting the shoulder. Hang on, let's get a long one. There we go, that's better. And we'll run them down with a ratchet. It says if you choose to, you can put a small dab of Loctite on these on the bolt itself. I'm going to see how it goes when we get them all tight. There we go. We're getting it tight. I'm not going to He-Man it. I'm just going to get it snug. There we go. And that one's snug. And look at that. We got a baffle on it. So now we're going to flip it over and we're going to work on the rest of it. I'm going to go get a block of wood so it sits even. Next thing we're going to do is then install our coil mounts. So they have a curvature on one side is straight. And I'm just going off pictures, but it looks like the curvature hangs out here at the bottom of the valve cover. I imagine if you needed to, you could probably mount them the other way around. It might make the coils closer to the what do you call it? The spark plugs. But I'm going to mount it like this and see where we're at. If we need to flip them later, we can. And then 8 of these little guys right here. Tiny little screws. And they have already been drilled and tapped and all that jazz. So they're not self-tappers like the baffle. So we'll throw this in here. All right, tighten them down. Allen wrench. There we go. All right, not bad so far, not bad. So we've already had the conversation, right? I'm going to use these LS3 style coils. I just need to find 2 more. So let me show you how we're gonna throw these guys on here. It's really not too difficult. You're gonna take your LS3 style, and you want the spark plug boot on the bottom of both sides. And remember, we have long spacers and short spacers. So for these coils specifically, you're going to use 4 short spacers. So let me show you what I mean by that. Bolt, short spacer, bolt, short spacer, goes through the bracket, short spacer, short spacer, into the other coil. Then washer. Another washer. And then 2 nuts. Then we're gonna tighten them down. On this side's a 10 mil. I don't know what side, what the Allen wrench size is. You just have to be careful. I'm gonna lock this guy down, and then this guy down. There we go. Don't over tighten it. Just gonna crack things. And there. That's one set. Let me do this side. Not that bad, right? It's not too bad. And then it uses the factory hardware, the bolts, the center bolts to install them, and a new set of valve cover gaskets, which I thought I bought and I can't find. So for right now, we're done. I'm gonna figure out this coil situation, and then as soon as I get that done, we'll install the other one, or we'll install them both. I kind of got it installed now so I can take a peek at it. You guys will have to wait. And then I'll show you the installation of it and we'll be done. It's been a couple days. I had a feeling that that was going to happen. And I made the decision to go ahead and order some new coils. So I can just have 8 brand new coils for the truck. And I did. And I ordered them on Monday. Today is Friday. I'm going to not only film the rest of this video today, but edit it so I can get it out to you guys tomorrow. And well, those coils were coming from Speed Engineering in California. And they're in Puerto Rico. So I don't know how that happened, but it's a shipping with USPS. So confidently I can say they're not going to be here. Nope. But I did get very, very lucky. And well, we may try to go to the track this Sunday, just like we did last Sunday. And if the weather holds out, we're going to load up the truck and go. And I've got to make it run to be able to do that. So I've got to finish up this valve cover install. So, you know, I was running to buy some friends, see if they had some extra ones, which no one really does. And then friend Chuck said, hey, you know, you bought that aluminum 5.3 at the swap meet a year ago or so. What coils are on there? Well, that engine's out at the storage shed. So I said, you know what? That's a Gen 4 engine. Let's go see what it's got. And it saved the day. So I actually have a full set, nice new full set of coils. And they look to be in just fine shape. So I assume everything will work just fine. So I'm going to pull these guys off. These are the LS3 style coils. And I'm going to get them on the valve covers here. And then I'll show you how we're going to install everything. So take a couple minutes here. I'm going to clean all this paint off of these coils because I can't be having that with what we're doing. So, all right, we're on to something. I'm getting them cleaned up right now. All right, we got the valve cover basically ready to go. I just kind of put this factory harness on. Now this is from the regular coil pack setup on the LS stuff looks like this. Carefully take it off, and it's gonna work for what we're gonna do. I could rewrap this stuff, but I think it's just gonna be fine. And usually this kind of hangs out on a bracket, so I'm just gonna kind of persuade it over to the side and plug it in. But I wanted to show you the last couple things on this. So first of all, it uses factory hardware. So if I can hold the camera and get this out at the same time, these go in here. And most of y'all probably know how to put on and take off the LS valve cover. So there's, I just needed to show you this part, so you're aware of it. And then we can go through them on the truck. Now, there will be some caveats because the way I'm doing some of these ports is a little different. And I'm about to go over that here in a second because I actually finally bought some tools to do that with, which is, one of them is this, which is probably what I'm going to use. And I actually bought AN wrenches. This is an adjustable one, and I bought this one from Summit Racing that's got a bunch of different ones in it. And well, yeah, I need to put some fittings in, so I'm going to put this fitting in here, and I'll explain that here in a minute. And hey, why not? Let's go ahead and use our first deal here. It's a 12 AN. Not marring up my fitting. That's fantastic. And it is a O-ring, so just got to get it snug. It's getting there. I don't think it needs any more than that. I think we're good. So there's that one. And on this is the driver's side valve cover. Whoops. No? Turned on sick week on accident. And I did it again. And then this is what we're going to use for this one here, which it's just a plug. So I'll throw that in, and then we'll get over to the truck and start throwing these on. These guys are ready to go. So everything's buttoned up. One thing I didn't show you guys, or it was in the time lapse, but I bought brand new valve covers for these things, and they just take OE truck valve cover gaskets or any LS valve cover gasket. Just pushes in the channel there. Looks really nice. The baffles, I did have a little bit of this differences since I had to put the baffles on the same side for both of these. Basically, the baffle is, you can put it on with the bolts facing the inside of the valve cover and then the outside of the valve cover, or vice versa. So they can rotate 160, but you do want to make sure that little divot there matches up to the divot on the valve cover itself. So I just lost a bolt, but I'm gonna go put these guys on, and then I'll finish up the little bit of the vacuum stuff that I'm gonna have to do, and we're gonna rock and roll. All right. Oh no. Oh no. The bolt for the coil's not gonna let me get it in there. Oh yeah, well, okay. Well, we'll just have to be careful and take it off and put it on. Okay, perfect. That one's in too. Sweet. Well, just know that's a risk on your application there. I might have to get creative, especially when trying to tighten this bolt. Well, definitely have some limited access here, back here by the brake booster. I can probably get away with making a shorter bolt work. But right now, I think I'm just gonna deal with it. I just gotta get that back bolt in. All right. Wound up taking the coils off of the bracket so I can get to the bolt back there. I won't keep you guys to wrestle with it. So let me wrestle with it and then I'll put everything back together. But yeah, there's some tight clearance here, just FYI. Here you go, folks. This was all done other than this vacuum tube here, which I'm going to have to put a soft hose on there, cut this right here, and then I'm gonna link the two up with a little piece of hose, and it's gonna work for now because eventually we're gonna put a catch can on it. But this side is done. If I could do some things over again, I'd like to try to paint this connector black or move it or something because it's just kind of ugly. But other than that, they really look freaking fantastic. So let's do the other side. I wish I would have gone and checked my storage a whole lot faster, but I didn't have that epiphany until Chuck said something. So this could have been done a lot sooner, but it's done now. So let's go over details. First of all, how about that? Woo, that looks good. That looks so awesome. Man. Super happy with that. Those are the coolest valve covers I've bought in my entire life. And anyways, let's go over details. So a couple things I had to do. This is not so attractive. This right here. So this is coming the vacuum from the throttle body, and I've got a 12 AN fitting, and I think this might be 1/4 inch, but I got a 3/8 hose on it, and it fits pretty good, pretty tight. I could always run a hose clamp on there if I needed to. I don't think I will. And then I cut this factory hose because it has a fitting that snaps on the factory valve cover. And instead I cut it here and I put again, the same fitting and the soft hose going to the -12 fitting on the valve cover. Now that's only temporary because these things, it has a -12 fitting. I'll be able to run a catch can before too long. So that'll be something I buy when we start running nitrous on this thing, because you're going to have that increased crankcase pressure. You don't want that oil going everywhere, so we're going to put it to a catch can. So that's one of the reasons I bought these valve covers. The other reason is they look fantastic. The other modification I had to do was here. Let me see if I can get y'all a little bit closer. If you look, I have a little bit of a gap right here. And what I did is I put some washers on this bolt so that so we had some room there. Now, if I had to do it again, I would turn this bolt around and come in from the back. But I didn't have that epiphany until I was already done. So there's that, but I did space it out a little bit so we're not hitting that brake booster, because it's going to be a little bit of a booger to get back there to that bolt without taking the coils off. So let's hope we don't have to take the valve covers off anytime soon. But holy cow, that's super awesome. That's all I can describe that with, as lame as that is. It looks great. I couldn't be happier. I've got my oil fill on this side now. It was on the other side, and that'll be just fine. I got to get a funnel so I don't, spill oil everywhere. Got everything hooked up. So let's see if it starts up. It hadn't been started in a week or so. So let's go back here and turn the battery on. Let's see how this cold start is on this trip. All right. Sounds like all 8 to me. Pretty cool. All right, I said this last time. I'm going to say it again. 2 days from now, Sunday, if it doesn't rain too bad tonight and it doesn't rain all day tomorrow, we're going to try to take the truck and Keith Fairmont out to Pine Valley Raceway, which is going to be our new quarter-mile track since Houston Raceway Park closed, to do some testing. I got some things to do to try to get this thing ready. I really hope I can get it ready because I got some family obligations tomorrow that might put a wrench in the plans, but I'm gonna try to get it done so we can get this thing out there and we can try to get that 11-second quarter mile. So look out for next video. Let's hope we get it to the track. I can't wait to get it to the track. Let's hope that these coils are good to go and I didn't screw anything up by adding some appearance to this thing. Oh, it looks good though. Unfortunately, the light died, but you can still see that red popping out on this. Looks awesome. So thanks for coming with us. If you're new to the channel and you're just seeing this now, yeah, this is the LS Swap Dog Dakota. We're going to do another one over there with twin turbos. And that's a 68 Nova Real Super Sport. This is a 63 Bel Air, 93 GMC Typhoon. If you saw the badge, you just said, hey, it's a 92 because it's gold. It's got the wrong badges on it. And our 92 GMC Sonoma GT. But we also have other things like Corvettes and really other cool cars and things like that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we always have something going on and we'd love to have you along. So please consider subscribing. Other than that, we do social media on Facebook and Instagram. You can check us out at The Racer X Garage. And wish us luck on the Dakota because if we get this thing into the 11s as is, which it's just a cam, converter, headers, well, it's got full suspension now and 4 LED trans. It's not as stock as or close to stock as it used to be. But if I can get this little motor that could into the 11s, we're going to put a cage in it and we're going to spray the house down and we're going to go a whole lot faster. So anyways, thanks for coming along. Let me know what you think of the valve covers. Check them out at BrianTooleyRacing.com. And I'll see y'all next time. Until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.